Hi, everyone. I am supremely excited for this Deep Talk with Taiba, a podcast where we will go into the deeper nuances of public speaking and communication. And today's guest is extremely special to me because he and I share the same mentors. I have done a few programs of Tony Robbins, but he has done literally all the programs of Tony Robbins, right from the Business Mastery Program to Date with Destiny to Leadership Academy, Unleash the Power Within, Wealth Mastery. He's currently working as a life coach and a business coach. He has been Amazon's best-selling author. He is an assistant professor at BITS Pilani and a CEO of Yushu Excellence Technologies. I'm not sure if I pronounce it correct. Please
The-
help me welcome our today's very, very special guest, Amit Dua.
Thank you so much, Taiba. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share the stage with you and my experience with your audience. Thank you so much, Taiba.
It's my pleasure and honor because we share the same school of thought, that is Tony Robbins, and I can't wait to explore our today's episode, which is all about how do you dominate the fear of public speaking. A lot of times when I talk to people in my coaching programs also, the first or the biggest roadblock for them is how do I manage my stage anxiety or that stage fear. And today we are going to break it down. First, we are going to go step by step. First, we are going to discuss why is public speaking such an important skill in business and in life. And second, we are going to go over why is it important to manage your stage anxiety. And third, we are going into the how, because as Tony Robbins also says, 80% of the success is about knowing the why and only 20% is knowing the how. So why do you think that public speaking is such an important skill in our lives and we should absolutely master it?
Okay, so there are a few parts to it, depending upon what you are working on. If you are a teacher, if you are a businessman, or if you are even a professional like a lawyer or doctor, or even any serviceman for that matter as well, you are working for someone. So whatever you are working in, public speaking, what public speaking means to me is that you are addressing a set of people. That may be 2, 3, 4, or maybe many of them. So when you're addressing that type of an audience, one thing is that you need to make sure that all of them are engaged and all of them are understanding what you are speaking. Public speaking means whatever you are speaking, the response what they are getting is exactly in line with what your thoughts you are conveying. So it doesn't mean that you have to be with a lot of pump and this and that, like Tony says, or neither you have to be as slow as our Prime Minister, late Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. It may be anything. The idea here is that whatever you are speaking is conveyed properly and the team is with you. This is much more important for me. When we are speaking something, we want to make sure that all of us are on the same page. Whatever motive we have, that motive is same. So it's ultimately very, what I can say, pivotal part or most important part in any information.
Comprehension.
Yeah,
You're trying to say that your audience should be able to comprehend it, because if you're trying to tell something, you are trying to inspire them and they're going in the opposite direction. That means there's something fundamentally wrong about how you're expressing yourself, maybe content or delivery. So yeah. Uh, and I was reading this book called Talk Like TED, and in which the author says that ideas are the currency of 21st century. The ability to share your ideas, speak well, is what defines how you are going to actually take up a lead in any field. Be if, as you said, that if you're a businessman, pitching your idea means you get that funding. If you are a lawyer, sharing and presenting your client's case means that you winning that case. So in every field, I think public speaking is something that we really need to master. Any other points that come to your mind?
yes. One of the very important points is that when we are making a team, it's very important that 1 + 1 + 1 makes more than 3. It should be ideally it should be 1 1 1. And that happens only when all our energies are in sync with each other. Our motives are same. We are for the team, and later point of time we are for individuals as well. So that point of time, getting sure of the background, what we're working in, why we're working in, and at the same time the ideas are much so it's important to get to the relationship building as well. And while solving the problem, it's not that important to crush the problem. Rather, it is more important that while we are crushing the problem, the team gets stronger as we are moving further. So for that, when we are speaking in public, it's really important that what we are speaking, we are aware of the message that is coming from the audience. We are responding to that, and we are flexible in order to adjust how our message is being conveyed, so that entirely the team is formed when we are speaking. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I take one of the courses for managers, that is communication for managers. And when we start off, we first go over the mistakes of communication, because again, when you are in a company, you are not working by yourself, you're not working in silos, you have to work with a team. And again, communication is one of the fundamental pillar of leadership, of team management, building amazing talent, retaining people. Because if you don't know how to give proper feedback, if you go out there only point out to the mistakes, and there's a way to even tell mistakes of people. That is what I teach in my courses, that there's a certain way. First, you have to not, you just don't have to jump on your mistakes, on the mistakes of the other person, that will make him feel belittled. So first, you have to be smart of, even when you are sharing a feedback, you have to be smart about it. You have to be like, okay, these are some of the good pointers, and then these are some of the things you can improve upon. And I have so many friends who work in some of the best organizations in the world, companies like Google, Facebook. All of these companies pay special attention that their employees don't feel belittled, don't feel as if they're not valued properly. In fact, one of my friend, he went on to say that I feel that my manager literally pampers me because of the way he communicates. So I think big companies know this very well, that if you want to retain your employees, if you want to build a company, scale it to the next level, you need good people. And for having those good people, you need good communication to hold those people. So I think we have discussed good amount. Any other points that come to your mind? Any last notes that come to your mind?
Yeah, maybe I think that's more than fine for giving people a good start, that public
Yeah.
speaking, what it is and why it is important in whatever profession you're working in. To and it's and somebody will say, why build a team? In today's, whenever we want to even impact someone, we need to have a team. In individually, we can reach up to somewhat whatever we can,
Yeah.
and it's very important to be with the team. You can have one set of skills, and when you are in a team, you have a plethora of skills with you. And in order to influence the team, in order to make sure that your ideas and words are conveyed properly, you need to speak up whatever you are thinking without any filters. Yes.
Right. Transparency, authentic communication, not hiding your problems is very, very important. Because sometimes what happens is, in olden times, it was said that, when we were not uh, following a style of leadership that we are following now, people used to hide their problems, and those problems used to escalate and accumulate and snowball. And therefore, it is so important that even when the problem is about to begin, the whole team is aware, so that even before that problem escalates to the next level, you are much more aware, and you can take suitable measures to curb the problem right there and then.
Yes.
So now moving on to the next part, why do you think is it so important to like dominate the fear of public speaking? What are your views? I have a lot of stories from my students that I've taught, but yeah, would like to hear from you.
So anything we are starting new, we know that it's important for us. And after this discussion, many people will think of addressing a set of people. And whenever we are starting something new, generally there is a hesitation, because the mind will say that we are chartering into a new territory. And now new means there is a risk, there is a fear. And it's important that to convince ourselves that we still have to go towards that. So overcoming fear is important for any new field we're trying, even if we are starting swimming or we are starting to drive a car. And once we know that it is so important for us fundamentally, it's I think even to just get started, you need to be aware of what can go wrong, and fear is one of them, which may stop you from reaching your potential in at least public speaking.
Right. I think psychology plays a very big role. 80% of success, again, as Tony Robbins says, it is about the mindset. If your mindset is full of limiting beliefs that you can't be a speaker, or no matter how many times you go on that stage, a lot of times people believe that you can either have good public speaking or you don't. There's no midway. Like, they feel that amazing speakers like Martin Luther King and all these people, they were born with great skills. Hardly do the people know that no, that they were not born with these skills. They actually cultivated those skills, they polished themselves and went on to their that level. Recently, a few months back, I was talking to one of the TEDx coaches, and I was just curious about how many times a TEDx person just rehearses his speech. And what he told me was very, very intriguing. Would you like to guess the number? What is the average of how many times a TEDx speaker rehearses his speech?
I think it would be no less than 10. I think it would be no less than 10.
No less than 10. It is around 300 to 400 times.
Yeah.
Which is like, looking at those speeches which are so free flowing and so amazing and charismatic, you feel that, uh, that's the kind of practice those people undergo. That's my point, that when I was actually interviewing these people, I was also thinking maybe 10, 20, 50, 100 times. But when I heard the average is like 300 to 400 times, some people even go up to the extent of rehearsing their speeches 600 to 700 times. And when people say wow, that speaker is a wow speaker, I actually feel that look at the amount of work that that person has put into. So even those people who are speaking on TEDx platforms, if they are practicing these speeches so many times, then I think everyone, because a TEDx speaker generally is an expert in his area, in his or her area. And he might have given speeches a couple of hundred times at least. And when on the top of that he is practicing so much, then I think people who are just starting off, they should understand that nobody is born with great public speaking skills. It's a big myth that okay, you have it or you don't have it. And this is also one of the factors, like in school we were not taught. I remember when I was in school, it used to be the saying that some kids are more brighter, and maybe some kids are definitely brighter because of the genes and all those factors. But they distorted one fundamental and a very big concept, that if you keep polishing yourself, if you have a growth mindset, then you can actually ace any area of life.
Yes.
Have you had those you know wrong notions about any field when you
Yes,
start?
I think one experience I can share it with, I shared with many of my team members as well, whom I am working with. When I started first in BITS Pilani, where I'm working currently as an assistant professor, I was given a lecture on computer programming. That's a very basic course. Everyone has to go through it. And my class was having 400 students on the first day. After a point of time, my thinking of teaching whatever I knew of, I just completed my PhD and gone towards in that big hall. It was a bit nervous for me, although I won't say I was underprepared, but I was underprepared for the experience I will be getting on the stage. So there was all sort of fears going on. Somehow or other I sustained for 50 minutes. And very soon after 4 lectures, my strength dropped to 50, the number of students who were there. And now it was a bit disturbing for me. From 400 to 50, it was there, and every class, the rate of drop was a bit high. So I did all those things, trying to work around, learn all the programs, write up everything on the board, distribute whatever were answering, chocolates and pens and everything, just to make sure the people are retained in the class. And whatever possibly I felt that I could motivate them, I did it. And after a point of time, the number was stable, and the number was only 25. And that 25 was a peak after a couple of weeks' time. There was sustainably 20, 25 to that people for the entire 4 or 5 months were there. Even I did something more with my team members who are my seniors here in BITS Pilani as assistant professor. What they said, I thought they will tell me that, Amit, you need to prepare like this, you need to speak like this, you need to tell like this. And I was very fortunate. One of the faculty members said that, first time when I went in the stage, by the time I put the pen drive, half of the class went away. So you were still lucky that till the first lecture over, they were still there. And after a period of 6 years, you have to be there on the court. Just like when the cricket pitch is there, it is in the morning, it is very wet and moisty, and all the balls are hitting on a face, nose, and helmet and everything. Sometimes you just be there on the pitch, sustain there, take every ball at a time. And by the evening, the pitch will be dry, sun will be on, and then you can hit sixes after that point of time. So it's very important to be there on the field as well.
Wow.
So this is something which my experience was there. I could have left then and there itself what is going on. I am not even able to connect to what 50 people itself in the lecture. But fortunately, after a period of time, I was there, and that was something which has allowed me to gain the joy of speaking after, let's say, 5 years, and now still it is getting more and more. Yeah.
That's a very beautiful story. I think we can all take away this lesson that, what people estimate is people overestimate what they can do in a single year, and they underestimate what they can do in a couple of years, like in a span of 3 years. And your story is a beautiful example that, if you stay at it, you're going to crack that skill that you're after. And I think a lot of people, when they don't see those hikes in their learning, they get disheartened. And at times, when we are putting a lot of effort, sometimes our skills sort of instead of increasing, they sort of deteriorate. I was going through this book by Dale Carnegie, in which he mentioned that when new speakers come and start speaking, and they're putting all their efforts, instead of increasing this, the audience members don't like them, and they sort of deteriorate. But after a point of time, it's, see, learning is not a straight curve. There are details in the learning. You go up and then down, and then after a point of time, you actually keep, after a certain point of time, till the time you have not reached the type, it's just like reaching on the top of the hill. So it takes indeed a lot of hard work. You slip sometimes, you fall down, but then if you just keep moving up, there's no way coming down. I think the story was a beautiful example. Now we will get into more about how do we actually tackle the fear of public speaking. So yeah, Amit, what are your takes? How did you manage? The first was very powerful, stay at it. Some other techniques that can help people.
She mentioned Dale Carnegie. I remember his book, How to Influence and Influence People. I think it is his second or third chapter. He mentions that the best way to overcome fear is to face it. If you are having a fear of public speaking, just go ahead. And there are multiple books which speak about their experiences. Like when I am talking to you, initially when I'm talking to any stranger, there's a lot of resistance there. What will happen? What will we speak? Like we're having this as well. There were a lot of inhibitions there. Just go ahead with it. If you are having a fear, that means just listen to it. If it is good for you, just go ahead for that. So the best way to overcome fear is do it. Just do it, as Nike says. Just do it. And this is one thing which I recollect, and that has helped me a lot. Whether in my running or whether in any field or exercising, whatever I'm learning, and there is always a fear, always, and it's very natural as well. That mind says that you are going to uncomfortable situation that may go around here and there as well. After a point of time, when you have done too many uncomfortable situations, your level of being uncomfortable is okay. But in the starting, you have not been taking any decision at all for yourself. So that is very natural. Your mind will go into a sense that, oh, I was safe, I was comfortable, I was relaxed. Now you are making me disturbed. But for soul, it is very important to have a learning experience. So it's very important for you as a person as well to take those fears and just go ahead and enjoy those experiences.
And this reminds me of one more story of, there's a world champion, and I don't want to name that organization. There's a very big organization about public speaking. Okay, let me name it, and I think people will connect more. So Toastmasters International. I'm not going to name the speaker, but he's one of the world champions. So when he started off, so he wanted to be a world champion of public speaking. He tried for a couple of years. For 5-6 years, he tried. He went on to the world stages, but he was still not able. But he did not give up. For 20 years, imagine this person. For 20 years, he kept going to competitions after competitions after competitions. And finally, he became the world champion. So, I mean, that just speaks about, people are swayed by the glamour and the glitter of how people win. They forget to see the struggle behind it. Okay, all the things that did not go right in his way. So I really love to cherish those stories, because those are the real stories of inspiration. They actually tell you the real path of, how something takes place. And Mel Robbins says this very amazing thing about, uh, converting fear into excitement. I teach this in my class also, when I'm taking a class on public speaking. How do you convert your fear in excitement? So if you see, fear and excitement, these are both, if you see the physical traits, they're same. When you're fearful and when you're excited, you're sweating, there are butterflies in your stomach, your heart rate goes up, and blood is rushing through your body. You are in a very amped up state physically, because there's a lot of adrenaline rush that is going on in your body. And the same happens in excitement. But what separates fear from excitement is our mental state. When we are fearful, we shrink, we go in that fight or flight mode. Our cortisol level, that is the stress hormone level, it rises. And all of a sudden, we start feeling fuzzy in our head, as if we can't make proper decisions. Our decision making goes down. That is what happens, because the mind is feeling that it cannot take up the challenge. It has lost, it feels that it has lost even before the struggle or whatever the journey was. But when you are sitting on that roller coaster ride, imagine you have the same symptoms, the same things, you're feeling the same, but you're still. I remember recently I went to an exhibition, and I sat in that swing, which was a 360-degree swing. So what happens was, literally, our bodies were totally reversed when we went on the top. And for a minute I was like, when I sat, I was shouting, please stop it, please stop it, please stop it. I was sitting with my sister, and I was like literally yelling on the top. And there was so many other people I could hear. There was a girl sitting behind us, and she was also yelling a lot. And we were like, imagine going in that uh, uh, 360-degree swing, where your body is just reverse, and you're just like, you're being thrown up and down for a couple of minutes. Though we just sat there for like about 5 to 7 minutes, but it was like a lifetime. It seemed like a lifetime of adventure. And why I'm sharing this story, that this is what happens. But my sister said one thing: I just hold my hand and you'll be just fine, and close your eyes and just and just make noise, and just don't feel afraid. And that's what I did. A lot of time, when you face fear, what people tell is, oh, think positive, or don't even acknowledge the fear. I think that's the worst advice that's given, because if you don't acknowledge the fear, it is going to be even worse. So the first thing is, when you are actually experiencing fear, just acknowledge it. Okay, yeah, I am facing fear, but I can retrain my mind. That's the power I have. I can whisper things that can help me be a better speaker. So imagine in your head that you delivering that speech, an amazing speech. How will you feel? Will you feel excited? Will you feel a sense of appreciation? What will you feel? And then, also feel that, also feel the excitement of, what, how the audience would be cherishing your stories or the things that you are telling, how they will have a great time by your speech. Once you have it properly, once you visualize it on a big giant screen in your mind, and you keep doing it, that the audience is applauding for you, and you keep doing it so many times, so much so that it becomes like a switch in your head. It becomes an anchor, like Tony Robbins says. It becomes an anchor in your head that you can turn it and turn off. So I think that one thing, when you acknowledge your fear and rechannel it into excitement, instead of feeling fearful, you say, hey, I'm excited. I'm excited to share so many amazing ideas with audience. I'm excited because I'm going to change the lives of people through my speech. I'm going to go there and serve people. When you have these thoughts, and when you start seeing your audience, most importantly, as not strangers, as not people who will judge you, but as friends and family members, then your entire way of looking at that crowd changes. Now, every time I'm going and sharing a stage, and if somebody, let's say you see somebody who's having a question or cynicism, just acknowledge that person there and then. I see you having a question. Would you like to ask? There and there, when even before he was about to, uh, have cynicism or whatever, you just killed it because you acknowledged it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, yes, you're right.
So
So, in one sense, when we are having certain fear, it's good to have a certain template. So initially, what the fear is when you are on the stage, hardly 1.5 minutes is one thing. If you are there handled, if you have a script there, then it's there. One of my trainers as well, Blair Singer, sorry, he was also having, he trained me how to handle first 1.5 minutes. And why I'm saying that, there is something which is important that you also mentioned, having a relationship with the audience. If they feel that you are genuinely there, having a good rapport with them, you are there for them and you are connecting with them, and they feel that you are one of them or like them, then definitely they will participate a bit more. They will put a open ear to what you are saying. So the template goes like that. Initially, when you go there, you introduce yourself in a one line, and then you ask some question, random question. And that question generally is like, I ask you, have you had a glass of water in the morning? So when you are saying like this, the other people will also say that. So they naturally feel that some of them will say yes. And then you ask the opposite question, how many of you have not had even a single glass of water since morning? And now all of their hands have been up once. You ask similar question, how many of you have had uh, a healthy breakfast in the morning or some breakfast in the morning? Someone will say, how many of you have not had any breakfast? So this was one of the template that makes them clear. And then you also tell them not more than 3 points how they are going to impact. And in that way, they are clear that we are having an environment which is friendly for learn. We are in a fun environment as well, and we can learn.
yeah,
After a point of time, it's important that what we are going to learn is also going to impact our life, and who we are is supporting what we are going to learn as well. So everyone has a sense of feeling that who we are apart from what we are doing. And ultimately, the person who is speaking is also an experienced person. Not only he has implemented himself, but has helped others to improve in whatever the person is speaking. And also at the same time, there are many things which the speaker needs to acknowledge as well. It's not you or the person, the surroundings as well does impact others as well. So if you're having a set template that gives a good rapport, gives a
yeah,
good relationship with the audience, and if there are certain fears, it's very good to have a coach, public speaking coach like you, that can help you handle those experiences in a better way. Ultimately, we know that the experiences in itself doesn't make anything. It's
yeah,
what we give the meaning
meaning,
ultimately stays with us. So
yeah,
having a person who is having a better experience, has gone through the same life as you, has improved himself, herself, and has improved others in that area, like you are improving in public speaking. So whenever some person is going through that, initially having that experience and realizing the meaning would be, I feel that giving a different meaning of the journey that going through.
exactly. I think whatever meaning we give to our brains, it, you know we are able to color our experiences through our reticular activating system. A study was done about from people that how do they see their childhood, and because of negativity bias, people who had a lot of negativity bias, and most of us have, even those people who had an amazing childhood, they only remembered those incidents that were bad. They did not remember the amazing times, the parents. They were all from happy, good families. No separations happened in their family. Even those people remembered those incidents, similar to those who had a lot in their life. They were not having good upbringing. So I think the meaning that we give to our experience is more important than the experience itself. I think every time you give an empowering meaning, even if you failed a speech, don't give it don't assign it a meaning that you're a failure. Assign it that you're a hero, that you went out there and still, after that fear, after whatever was happening with you, you still went ahead and gave that speech. And one more thing that I think we can all do is making our body ready, like doing deep breathing exercises. Take when you take a deep breath and exhale through your mouth, And when you do it couple of times, it expands your lung capacity and you're able to be more confident, and your lungs play a big role in your speech. So, having a good breathing system, having good deep breaths, it really helps you. Other thing that I think we can all do is a light stretch. A light stretch sort of energizes you, puts you in a good mood, and you are like set and ready for your speech. Along with that, as I mentioned earlier, the visualization exercise. Every time there's a fear, just try to visualize it into a state of excitement. Imagine how, imagine one time in your life when you were extremely excited. What was that, uh, you know, that time like, that moment like? Try to relive that moment and try to have those moments again anchored to you even now. So when you do that enough number of times, I think uh, that really helps you overcome a lot of your fears. And as you said, the most powerful point, that just when you stay at it, no matter how bad things go, if you stay stubborn that I am going to go back again and again and again, then there's nothing in the world that can stop you from becoming a great speaker, from acing your speech. And I think with time, we sort of, it's just like, for the first time when you're learning to code or do anything, as you said, there is a psychological fear. But when you do it enough number of times, that fear automatically goes away, because, the camera or that stage becomes your friend instead of your foe. So I think we discussed some really, really amazing, pointers today. Any last things that you want to say, Amit?
Yeah. So if you think about anything you're good at, if I think about anything I'm good at right now, maybe tennis I'm good at, or any particular skill I'm good at, there is always have been a coach who has helped us. It's never have been individually. It's not hit and try that works out. There are 2000 or 2 billion or whatever different possibilities we can try it out. At max, we can learn what to do, but we can never learn the process of learning that we have learned. So that's where the coach is very, very important. Up to ourselves, it's one level we can learn. Everything may be given in the YouTube lectures, books, everything, but still a personal guide for whatever you want to see as a very important thing you want to experience. It's best to approach a professional that can help you, guide you where you want to become best. So this has helped me tremendously in my life since I had my personal coach last 2 years ago. There was a different curve before that, and there was altogether different curve after that point of time. It's not that the experience is what I'm feeling is different, but the depth of emotions that I'm experiencing about myself and about the world I know of, about the people I know of, anyone towards the public speaking as a whole, which is also important. I really seriously recommend people to have a person who has been through that particular process, has become someone, and has helped others to get there. Is really very important in whatever field you are going through, and public speaking is no exception here as well.
Awesome, awesome. And I think one point that really touched my heart was the fact that you can know all the things that you have to go right to do the right way. But a coach is the one who tells, okay, this is, these are some of the wrong strategies or bad strategies that you should, avoid. So I think what to do, a lot of people know, and there's a lot of information outburst today. Do this, do that. But what they don't know is what not to do, how not to be when you're out there delivering those speeches. So I think this is a very, very crucial point that you brought up. Thank you for this lovely, lovely, interaction. Loved every bit of it. Learned so much from you. Uh, and looking forward to many more collaborations. Thank you, Amit, for being here. And please follow Amit. I will leave his profiles and everything in the link below. Please follow him on all the places. And yeah,
Thank you so much, Daiva. Thank you for having me here. Have a good day.
my pleasure. Take care, everyone. Have fun, keep learning, keep growing, and keep going out of your comfort zone.